Let's see if we're dead. Am I live? Am I live? I'm live. Good day, everybody. This is Ying Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1783. I don't know where the camera is. There it is. And I am setting up for the usual. Oh my God, I forgot that. I forgot something, but never mind. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's one of those things where you say, ah, ah. Anyway, so we are going through wisdom from other people. I'm here. Morning number 1783. That's the number of days in a row I've come to you with morsels of a thought. Hopefully, that we learn the right things to do, because knowing the right things to do is a form of wisdom. And then actually taking action to do them is virtue. So we're bringing more virtue into the world with morsels of a thought. I thought I wanted to bring more virtue into the world, but I thought I could do it by magic. You know, holy shit. Excuse me. Excuse me. I really thought I could, but the thing is that the world doesn't play with me. When I don't play, the world doesn't play. And so I have to deal with things one thing at a time, just like a human being does, one thing at a time. You can never do more than one thing at a time. Even when you're jumping back and forth, it's one. Morsels of a thought of wisdom. We'll do one thing at a time. Okay, so we're quoting Epictetus. We're starting from the beginning of what he said. All right, he said a lot. He said all these things. He said something in the handbook. He said something for the discourses, and he said things in fragments that they have collected. So this is edited and translated by Robin Waterfield. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Epictetus, the complete works, handbook, discourses, and fragments. And we are starting in the handbook at the moment. He says, Epictetus says, some things are up to us and some are not. Now, isn't that a deep thing already? God damn. Okay, sorry. Check mark. Um, Up to us are judgment, inclination, desire, aversion. There's a footnote. In short, whatever is our own doing. Not up to us are our bodies, possessions, reputations, public offices. In short, whatever isn't our own doing. And boy, do I have an example for you about public office. The climate is not there for me to go in because I'm a yellow person in my neighborhood. In my district, it's not that good to be a yellow person yet because they're trying to get a brown person in there. So I'm not brown enough. Therefore, I got recalled. La, 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 la. You all know me. Anyway, part two. That was part one. Part two. Number two. Moreover, the things that are up to us are naturally free, unimpeded, and unobstructed, while the things that aren't up to us are weak, enslaved, subject to impediment, and not ours. 3. So remember this footnote. If you regard things that are naturally enslaved as free, if you regard things that are not yours as yours, you'll be obstructed, dejected, and troubled, and you'll blame both gods and men. But if you regard as yours only, I'm so sorry. God damn. I'm gonna leave it on the floor. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I can't do this. Jesus Christ. Check mark. If you regard the I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not that sorry. Okay. Dejected and troubled, and you'll blame both gods and men. But if you regard as yours only what is yours, and not yours only what is not yours, which is the way things are in reality, no one will ever constrain you. No one will ever impede you. You'll blame no one. You'll reproach no one. You'll never act reluctantly. No one will harm you, and you'll have no enemies because you'll never suffer harm. 4. Quote, in setting yourself such great goals, then, bear in mind that no moderate effort is required as you set about attaining them. You'll have to let some things go altogether and postpone others for the time being. But if you want not only these great goals, but also political power and wealth, the chances are that in aiming for the former, you won't even get the latter, and you'll certainly and you'll certainly fail to get the former. Footnote, which are the only things from which we get freedom and happiness. 5. So take up the practice right now of telling every disagreeable impression, you are an impression and not at all what you appear to be. End quote. Then go on to examine it and assess it by these criteria of yours, the first and foremost by this one. Whether it has to do with the things that are up to us or the things that are not up to us. And if it has to do with the things that are not up to us, have at hand the reminder that it's nothing to you. Interesting. So that was the first paragraph, part 1. Now I'm going to read the second paragraph. We are reading Epictetus, the complete works translated by Robin Waterfield, the Discourses Handbook and Fragments. Okay, he was a Roman. He was not an emperor. He started out as a slave. Okay, and we're reading the right things to do, because knowing the right things to do is a form of wisdom, and then actually having the courage and determination to do them is called virtue. Yeah. Okay. 2. 1. What it is paragraph 2, sentence 1. Remember that desire holds out the prospect of getting what you desire, and the aversion of the prospect of not experiencing what you want to avoid, and that the person who fails in his desire suffers disappointment, while the one who experiences what he wants to avoid suffers misfortune. So if you try to avoid only things that are contrary to nature among the things that are up to you, you'll meet with none of the things you'll want to avoid, while if you try to avoid illness or death or poverty, you'll be miserable. Second sentence. Withdraw aversion then from everything that isn't up to us and redirect it to things that are contrary to nature among the things that are up to us. Footnote. As for desire, abolish it altogether for the time being. Footnote. Because if you desire something that isn't up to us, you're bound to become miserable. And because none of the things that are up to us that it would be right for you to desire are yet within your reach, make use of only of inclination and disinclination, footnote, but do so with a light touch, with reservation, and with detachment. Footnote. Paragraph 3. When faced with anything you find attractive, useful, or lovable, remember to tell yourself what kind of thing it is. Start with the least important things. If it's a jug you like, you say, I like a jug, because then you won't be upset if it gets broken. If you kiss a child of yours or your wife, tell yourself that you're kissing a human being, because then you won't be upset if they die. Number 4. Whenever you're about to start on some activity or other, remind yourself of its characteristic features. If you're going out to battle, rehearse in your mind what typically happens in a bathhouse. Getting splashed and jostled and abused and robbed. It's safer to set about an activity if you tell yourself, I want to bathe and to keep my will in accord with nature, end quote. And so on for every activity. Then, if something happens that obstructs your bathing, you'll have at hand the reminder that, quote, that wasn't the only thing I wanted. I also wanted to keep my will in accord with nature, and I won't be doing that if I resent what's happening, end quote. 5a. People are troubled not by things, but by their judgments about things. Death, for example, isn't frightening, or else Socrates would have thought it so. Footnote. What frightens people is their judgment about death that is something to fear. So, whenever we're obstructed or troubled or distressed, let's blame no one but ourselves. That is, our judgments. Let's blame our judgments. 5b. Blaming others when things are going badly for him is what an uneducated person does. Blaming himself is what a partially educated person does. Blaming neither others nor himself is what a fully educated person does. Yesterday, I went to an appointment that I had been given the previous day. On the day before, I got a phone call that said, well, your appointment that's starting in December, we can cancel it if you'd like to come in today, no, tomorrow for uh, an appointment because we had a cancellation. I was like, oh, okay. So I show up. They say, your appointment was for tomorrow, Wednesday, not Tuesday. You got an email Tuesday morning that said tomorrow. And I said, no, I got a phone call Monday that said tomorrow. And you can't not see me because I went parking and parking and parking. And it was a nightmare to find parking, etc. So I was a little upset and I blamed the other person. And I said, whoever told me tomorrow on Monday should have a stern talking to. And then the assistant, uh, no, the RN said, I'll make sure they know. Okay, so that person knows. So there are three sullen people behind the counter because I was blaming them. And then I thought to myself later in the room while I was waiting for the PA to come instead of the doctor, because the doctor wasn't even scheduled to be there on Tuesday. So they couldn't have. But Wednesday, I could not have accepted it. So what I heard was the 18th, Tuesday, tomorrow. Well, I think what happened later, I found out, I think what happened is right now all our digital connections on our phones have like blank spots. Sometimes the person's voice breaks up, goes in and out. I think what happened was a silent breakup right there. And she said the day after tomorrow, but I only heard tomorrow. So I think that's what happened. So I don't blame her and I don't blame myself. That is what Epictetus does or says. Okay, part six, paragraph six. Don't take pride in any distinction that isn't your own. If a horse were proudly to say, I'm beautiful, that would be acceptable. But when you proudly say, I own a beautiful horse, you must realize that what you're taking pride in is a horse's good quality. So what is yours? Making use of impressions. And so when you're in accord with nature in the use you make of impressions, that can be a source of pride because then you'll be taking pride in something good that's yours. Paragraph 7. Suppose you're traveling by sea and the boat puts in somewhere and you disembark to get some water. While you're at it, you might also pick up a bit of shellfish and a few bulbs. Footnote. But you have to keep your mind fixed on the boat and pay constant attention in case the captain calls you back. And if the call comes, you have to leave all those things behind to avoid being tied up and hoisted on board like the sheep. Footnote. The same goes for life, too. Suppose you've been given not bulbs and shellfish, but a wife and child. All well and good, but if the captain calls, run to the boat, leaving all those things behind without paying them any mind. And if you're elderly, you also shouldn't ever stray far from the boat, in case the call comes and you get left behind. Footnote. I'm not sure I understand that one because I think the boat is a representative of coming to life. I think the boat is representative of when you get called back to an assignment or death. I'm not sure. Okay. Now, we are reading, oh, okay, paragraph 8. It's a short one. Instead of wishing that things would happen as you'd like, wish that they would happen as they do, and then you'll be content. So if you wish for something to continue doing what it's doing, then you'll be content. We are reading from Epictetus, a wise philosopher in Rome in the ancient days. It's been translated by Robin Waterfield. We have the discourses, the handbook, and the fragments. Right now, we are reading from the handbook. We're bringing more virtue into the world with morsels of a thought of wisdom, which is knowing the right things to do for yourself and for others, knowing that what you do influences others, and you need to do things that influence others in a good way. So, whatever is good for society and mankind, you can do, and that will be your purpose in life, doing the right things to do. That would be virtue. Okay. Number 9, paragraph 9. Illness may impair the body, but it doesn't impair the will unless the will wishes it. Lameness is an impairment of the leg, but it doesn't impair the will. Whatever happens to you, tell yourself this, and you'll find that it's always something else that is impaired, not yourself. So if my back hurts and I can't walk too much, I know I still want to get there. So that's what this is saying. Number 10. In every situation, remember to turn to yourself and try to find what means you have for dealing with it. If you see an attractive man or woman, you'll find that self control is the appropriate faculty. If you're in pain, you'll find it to be fortitude. If someone's maligning you, you'll find it to be patience. If you make this your habitual practice, you won't be carried away by your impressions. Number 11. Never say, I've lost it about anything, but I've returned it. Has your child died? It has been returned. Has your wife died? She has been returned. Has your estate been confiscated? So too, that has been returned. Quote, but the person who confiscated it is a bad man, end quote. What difference does it make to you to whom the donor used as the agent of its return? As long as they're in your charge, treat them as things that belong to someone else, as travelers treat an inn. This is very, very relevant to those of us who have become homeless, that have been removed by what we call bad men, because the agent, the owner, has used that bad man as an agent, but the owner still owned it and it still wasn't yours. So this says treat them as things that belong to someone else, as travelers treat an inn. Number 12. If you want to make progress, discard thoughts such as, if I neglect my affairs, I'll have nothing to eat. Okay, a gnat is in my way. There is a gnat here, which is very interesting because I'm on the eighth floor, not floor. I mean floor. I mean floor, not seventh. Seventh. Anyway, it is here. I'm going to talk about the political movement that is going on right now in the United States, which is that those of us who are opposed to the changes in the government want to control the GNP, to object and to say, we do not approve of somebody demolishing our democracy and trying to become a king. And we want to make sure that you understand this to the government. We want to say that. The way we say it is to control the GNP, make it flat. Make it flat so that there is a zero GNP on that day. On those days, Tuesday, the 25th of November through Tuesday, December the 2nd, in 2025, we are going to control the GNP. We are not going to go to restaurants. We are not going to go to chain stores. We are not going to make purchases. We are not going to work hard. We're going to work as much as and we're going to take our breaks. And if we have to keep our job, we're going to go to work, but we're going to take every break we can up to the last minute that we deserve, and to do the minimum of what we want, what the work is. I'm not very wise. I'm just saying this is something that if you go to Substack and look for Mika Anderson with an O, Mika Anderson with an O, she has an entire um, algorithm for how to do it. It is what we need to do before the 25th is stock up on every food item, every toilet paper item that we need, medicines, stock up. And if you have to go to buy something, use a mom and pop store or a mom and pop restaurant. So I want you to know that I oppose the government the way it is because Trump has taken a lot of means to create a distraction from the fact that they are taking our government away from us, and they are creating more and more and more and more and more distraction to try to make it so that we are not aware that we need to vote, that we need to vote and move the needle. If you don't vote, then you don't move the needle one single bit. Don't think that you can tell other people how to vote and that they'll vote for you. You have your own way to vote. Okay, so now I'm in low power mode. Oh, Jesus Christ. 20% of battery remaining. That's okay. Okay, so I have been reading to you what Epictetus says about what to do, about wisdom that is useful to us, that when we have a mindset of, for example, on Saturdays, I read a mindset for the 21st century by George Chanos, Millennial Samurai. Book one. I read that to you on Saturdays because he has lots of ways to change your mindset. Now, I'm talking about not just a mindset, but an action for the GNP to fall down to zero between November 25th and December 2nd. So that's going to be 8 days, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 1, 2. So, okay, we're going to do that. I hope that you join me in the effort because I just hope you join me in the effort because I want to save our democracy and get that guy out of office the way he should have been. I honestly think that AI took over our elections and that Hillary actually, the victory actually would have gone to Hillary Clinton and to Kamala Harris. I believe that AI controlled all the machines because I was told that 2 hours for a blackout of all the voting machines across the United States occurred. It was a blackout. Nobody knew what was going on, and the machines were dark. They went dark for 2 whole hours in on election day for Trump to win instead of Kamala Harris. So we believe that Kamala Harris actually won the popular vote. So that's a form of wisdom. There are two things I'm doing to you right now. One is how to settle your mind to things that you cannot control. And then also, the other is to take the action that is within your control. Within your control is when you buy your medicine, where you buy your medicine, whom you give your money to, which restaurant you choose. Mom and pop stores and businesses and not franchises, but mom and pop stores and businesses are the places you want to go for that period of time, Tuesday to Tuesday. November 25th to December 2nd. Okay. Now I want to just let you know I've been here 1783 days in a row, giving you thoughts, giving you morsels of a thought of wisdom. Hopefully, that we know the right things to do for ourselves and for the world. And when we do them, we create the virtue that the world needs. I think that what we can do is learn from other people's experiences. They give us synopses of their experiences, and then we learn morsels of a thought of what they do. We create them in our minds, and even though we may not be very wise, we will profit from the wisdom of others. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Old Kinderheck. Bye bye.